Hi writers! For today's work you're going to need the book that you've been reading, your writing journal, and something to write with. We are going to be reading like a writer and noticing how authors use punctuation. Punctuation marks are road signs, not maps, road signs for readers. They are helping the reader to understand what it is you want them to do when you are writing. And the best way to learn about punctuation is to see what published authors, are already doing. So today, I'm going to be working with the true story of the Three Little Pigs. I've already read this book as a reader, and I understand the beginning, the middle, and end of this book. And so today my focus is to read like a writer, and I'm going to notice what punctuation the author is using. In our writing notebook, so at the back, I use this tab, and I'm going to I went to a new page. I did my writing ahead of time to make the time on this video shorter. So that's why there's all these sticky notes. You will not need sticky notes. So I set up my chart, reading like a writer, with our 3 columns. What I noticed, what it meant, examples of work. I'm going to read to you from the true story of the Three Little Pigs. So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house. So I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home with the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. All right, so I'm looking to see what punctuation I noticed. One punctuation mark that I noticed is a comma. So in my what I noticed comma. And I'm focusing on this comma that's in this first sentence. So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. And so what it meant, what the author is having the reader do, is it's having the reader slow down and take a breath. And it means that 2 thoughts are connected. So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. So I noticed that there was a comma. I think it means to slow down, take a breath, and it means that 2 thoughts are connected. And then I wrote the sentence in my notebook. So now I have a resource and I have a sentence that has a comma, and I can come back to this and I can use this as a writer. Another set of punctuation that I noticed were quotation marks. So right here at the beginning of little, and then after this question mark, those are quotation marks. And what I think it means is it's not a stop sign. So we keep going. Like the author doesn't want me to pause or take a breath or stop. The author wants me to keep going, and the author wants me to know it is exactly what the wolf is saying. So that's what I think it means. And then I took the sentence and I wrote it. So now I have an example. For me, writing and using punctuation can be challenging, and it's important for me to have a resource. And so now I have a resource of what it looks like to use quotation marks. Then I also noticed that there is an apostrophe. So it says, I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house. So I noticed that there was an apostrophe. So if I think about what it means, once again, I think it means to keep going. It's not a sign for me to take a breath or to stop. And I know that an apostrophe can be words put together to make a contraction, but that is not how this apostrophe is used. It signals ownership. So we're talking, the author is talking about a house, and whose house? Well, it's someone else's house. And so it's showing ownership. And then I wrote it, and I want you to know that I wrote it and I read it and I realized that I left out a word. So I put this mark called a caret, and I put this mark, and then I wrote the word just because I want to make sure I have it. So it says, I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house. So your work today is to read the book that you've been reading, and I would like for you to notice at least 3 different punctuation marks. They do not have to be exactly the same as mine. They don't have to be all on the same page. And so I'd like for you to complete this chart today using at least 3 punctuation marks.